Okay, welcome. Hear ye, hear ye. It is the Economist on NyQuil and the Economancer, and we will be discussing the Monsters Inc. argument for basic income video that was recently uploaded to YouTube. That is, well, let's be honest, downright fucking stupid. So we will begin to go through and explain how it is, well, as I said, downright fucking stupid. So, hi, Joe.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Yeah, I am the Economancer. I read from the depths of the Economicon. It is a great book written by 30 different druids throughout history, most notably Milton Friedman.
And I am the economist on NyQuil, and I read from the the books of NyQuil.
Very good books. They put me to sleep
Always,
every time.
yes. And if you fight the urge to sleep, you see the pink elephants in the room.
Or you get what's called the Soma Shakes. And if anybody knows what those are, I'm sorry.
What are they?
Well, that's where you take sleeping medication and try to fight against going to sleep, and it causes synapse misfires and leads to a little bit of
Is it the twitching?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Not that I know what the twitching is, of course. I've never in my life. Well, I have no idea what those are, and we will leave it there. Just the pink elephants in the room. The pink elephants in the room. Pink elephants. Yes.
Pink elephants.
Yes. So I read from the exact same scrolls that I add to that I have written only by myself of various courses in economics on NyQuil. And it's always when the pink elephants start doing something in the room. Whether it is the pink elephants start talking for principles of macro, for intermediate macro, it's when the pink elephants start kind of making sense. And then for money and banking or monetary economics, it's when the pink elephants start running the central bank. But the pink elephants show up everywhere.
I don't see the difference between real life at this point.
You don't see the difference with what?
Real life. The pink elephants run everything.
Yeah, they pretty much do. Okay. Anyway, so here is the video. We did a live stream a few days ago. We didn't get to make it too terribly far into it, so we're going to start streaming the video from the beginning, and we'll briefly discuss some of the things that we talked about in the last live stream, and then from about 5 minutes in is where we had to stop last time. We'll kind of pick up from there and just keep adding to what we currently have. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started.
You forgot to turn the audio on.
Shit.
Go down to share.
Yeah.
And it should be share audio with it.
Okay, well, I will do this then. Share screen.
Boomer.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
That's true.
There we go.
I did the same thing.
Sharing screen audio if you have a guest. They will hear themselves.
What? Okay.
Don't show this tip again. Cool. All right.
Monsters Inc. takes place in a universe that literally runs on fear. Monsters enter the human world at night through bedroom closets to scare children for the purpose of energy production. You see, whereas the world we know mostly runs on fossil fuels, hydropower, nuclear, and increasingly solar and wind, the world of monsters runs on the emotion of fear. When kids scream, their screams are harvested as energy. That energy powers a world of monsters, and so every night, monsters enter the world of humans to make children scream, to mine their fear. However, all that changes when through the course of the film, it's accidentally discovered that the laughter of children is 10 times more powerful than their screams. This discovery leads at the end of the film to a complete transformation of the company Monsters Inc. as it pivots from fear-based energy production to joy-based energy production. Think about that for a second. An entire world was oriented around the harvesting of screams. Every single day, monsters went to work with the purpose of scaring children as their goal.
Sounds
The
like a pretty good
entire
goal.
global monster economy was built around this
Right.
foundation. This was normal. This was life. As the
All right.
viewer, you
So
can only imagine that at some point in the past, some
one of the arguments that we had presented the last time was, this idea, this rationality has about you like orienting, your life and how you're allocating your resources based on the mode of production for the energy, right? So like that's not necessarily true in our world, and that wasn't necessarily true in theirs, right? So a lot of it was, as Jeremy pointed out, it was, energy is the intermediate good. We don't facilitate our entire life based on that. That's just what is.
Yes.
Okay. Got to take breaks because you don't want to make the copyright gods mad.
Oh, yeah. Monster who must have gone down in monster
Well, The Creature
history
from the Black Lagoon is a phenomenal movie, by the way.
Doing so,
it really was.
Screams could function as a.
And I'm just going to go ahead and say, kind of as like a film nerd here, it probably was not entirely appropriate to use The Creature from the Black Lagoon in a clip where he's talking about scaring children, because the creature was not actually the bad guy in that movie. Just saying, the creature wasn't the bad guy.
I mean, I'll take your word for it. I didn't derive that meaning from it. It's just like when people talk about Frankenstein, they're like, Frankenstein wasn't the bad guy. It's just like, have you actually read Frankenstein?
I mean, I have, yeah.
He wasn't just a misunderstood monster.
No, he was also a monster, like,
Yeah.
not just outwardly, but inwardly. He was very intelligent in the book. He was not this like blundering idiot. It's like Fred in the 1940s version, although The Bride of Frankenstein is a phenomenal movie and is way better than the first Frankenstein. But yeah, if you watch The Creature from the Black Lagoon, first off, he's more like defending his territory than anything else. And if you just come in, like if somebody just comes into your home and starts like trying to fuck with you, yeah, you've got every right in the world to defend your home.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of the same argument that leads to veganism, which, good or bad, I mean, that's essentially the argument. So that's why I would be careful with that.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Anyways.
You always run the risk of, going into moral quandaries and stuff like that when you're associating or anthropomorphizing the moral systems of the things that you are either invading or dealing with, especially if you consider them monsters and then anthropomorphize the moral boundaries that you have onto them. So that's always a weird one.
It is. Although this is probably opening up a nasty can of worms. The creature appeared to be relatively intelligent.
Yeah.
It wasn't just, it was probably more intelligent than most other animals that populate the earth.
Including humans.
Yeah. It seemed to be almost on par with human intelligence. So that taken into account, this is where it could possibly get weird, being like, well, okay, you just don't kill smart things. And it's like, well, I guess people would have to stop killing cows because cows are actually kind of smart here. Yeah, it was to an extent defending its home. And well, if you come in my home and you try to start fucking with me, you will not meet a happy ending.
Like a massage parlor?
Yeah, we can go with that. You definitely won't get a massage parlor happy end. I don't know, depending, I guess, on how much you make me mad. If you make me happy enough, I might just aggressively give you a massage parlor happy ending.
Right. Just use a gun. That meme is just use a gun. I tried it. I did it. Everybody's in therapy and I'm on a list.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyways, for everyone who is listening, do not use a gun at the massage parlor. That is bad.
Oh, wow. That's really...
What?
That was like a most recent shooting.
Yeah, don't do that. That's bad.
I
I don't
know,
see
but
the problem here. Like,
it's a
don't do
touchy
bad things. They're
subject.
bad.
Right, no, I agree, but that's a touchy subject.
Yes.
I'm also a touchy subject.
Technically, I guess so is everybody that goes into one of those massage parlors.
Exactly. Okay.
Hold on. We have comments here.
Oh, we have comments. Who is?
We
It's
have
an economic.
Yeah, we have somebody joining us. This is amazing. Welcome. Thank you for sitting in on our live stream here. We've got one person watching us. This is amazing.
I now have power. Start the parasocial relationships. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do it. And I think we should also keep streaming this
Power
video.
source. It worked. And yet laughter, which worked 10 times better, was never even considered. Was never even tested. No one
Okay.
thought.
Yes, it was.
Because screams worked. And so screams.
Again, this comes down to this guy not watching the movie and not understanding the actual analogy that it was making. It was making corruption analogy. So I find that very odd that this is, again, the rationale that's being used.
Yeah, and we discussed this a little bit in the last live stream about basically that this could be a much better video commentary if they wanted to, instead of address like, how evil capitalism is or something like that, maybe address something like just, corruption within the system, or even discussing like monopoly pricing. The monopolies, the firm's problem in a monopoly, you can do so much with that here. And you can actually tie a lot of that to what's going on in the real world right now. Understanding, when the monopoly sets price above marginal cost, where the price is just a markup over marginal cost, you kind of have yourself like a fairly interesting situation when it comes to, like, say, some of the stuff with big tech. Like, okay, for an account on Twitter, yeah, you're not paying anything, but that doesn't mean that just because you're not paying a price in monetary terms doesn't mean that you're not paying a price. So there's some interesting stuff with that. They could easily tie into this. But I guess when you're just wedded to this idea of a universal basic income, that's really all you see. You just see the world through the lens of UBI, 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 and it's just this like narrow focus on that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, going further into, what this whole movie was about, deeper into it, about, we now have not just, we don't have just a monopoly and a firm reducing output and stuff like that, which reduces the, total welfare maximizing function. We also have collusion with the government. I mean, you've seen this within the institutions, that the academic institution prior in the movie, well, it's after, but it's set in prior. You have this organization that runs the school. That level of collusion is also something that could be brought into this narrative, because now we see, business and institution collusion. And the moment you have that, you're either further damaging the social welfare function.
Yes. Okay, so let's keep going here.
Were what the economy was built upon. Believe it or not, we live in that same kind of world. We discovered something monstrous that worked, and we used it to drive our economy. We've done it for so long, we don't even question it. And we never even tested a far more powerful alternative. What works, we discovered, is an economy based on the fear of death by poverty, where fear of death is used to compel people into working. And what we have never tested, until recently that is an economy where there is no fear of death by poverty, where all work is thus fully voluntary. Monsters, Inc. can therefore be seen as a metaphor for wage slavery. Yes.
Oof.
Worsening.
Okay, so before we go any further with this, Joe, have you seen that movie Office Space?
Like 20 years ago, maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, in Office Space, at the beginning of the movie, they have this discussion where the main character's like, when I was in high school, my guidance counselor would always ask, "What would you do if you had $1 million?" And his friends start, giving these like really stupid responses, like, "Oh, if I had $1 million, I would, take it to my friend, and we can go to like this, we can invest in like low risk mutual funds." And this guy's like, "No, no, 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 no. I think the point of the question was like, what would you do if if your income was taken care of, if you didn't have to worry about, earning some sort of income, what would you be doing?" And then, of course, there's that one fabulous response that this guy's next door neighbor gives, where he's like, "Peter, I tell you what I'd do if I had $1 million. I'd do two chicks at the same time, dude. Because chicks dig dudes of money, especially the types of chicks that double up on a dude like me." So
I
what would you
mean,
do? Like, seriously, though, when you think about it, though, what would you do if your income was totally taken care of? You might be doing things that are productive. You might be doing things that are like actually adding to society.
possibly.
I'm not so sure.
No, I mean, this is something that goes back to Veblen and the original institutional and original evolutionary economics argument about pecuniary emulation as well as conspicuous leisure. That one of the major problems that Veblen saw in capitalism, that he saw, the leisure class. And this was also a rebuttal to Karl Marx's work on the bourgeoisie, was that the problem isn't that they're rich. The problem is that they're rich and lazy. And this was something that was, fundamental and paramount to the ideas of like 1895 into the 1920s. But, we've had, major structural changes since then where we've seen, it's not normal now to think of, rich people as lazy. I mean, like there's like numerous CEOs like Elon Musk and stuff. They're like, "How busy are you?" Or "What are you doing for society?" And they're like, "Yeah, I work 80, 90 hours a week, just consistently, you know, trying to distribute my capital as best as I can, as well as I'm accumulating my own human capital and trying to disperse that, trying to get as much, knowledge spillover from my work, especially with like Elon Musk." So it's a lot different now because of the incentives have changed about pecuniary emulation.
Yes. And as we've had this massive like restructuring of the economy over the last probably 120 years, where things have really called for much more specialization, much more like sort of organization of different types of labor within every firm. All of a sudden, the people that are rich aren't, they can't just sit on their asses anymore and just be like, "Oh, it's fabulous being rich," and drink with their pinkies up and be like, "Oh, ha, 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 all those poor people, those stinky, nasty, smelly poor people, we're rich." Like, they don't get to do that anymore. I'm going to take a sip of this though. Oh, have I lost you, Joe? Joe froze. This is not good. I guess I'm sitting here by myself now. Hmm. Uh-oh. One moment, ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing technical difficulties. We have lost one of our guests. We are working to rectify this matter. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we will be terminating this broadcast, and we will be starting a new one whenever the Economancer is able to join us again. This is rather embarrassing technical blunder. However, stay tuned for another live stream that will be put up hopefully within the next couple of minutes.